Hello everyone, my name is Tejavati NR, working as Assistant Professor of Physics in Government College Autonomous, Mandya. Today, my lecture topic is about magnetic properties of materials. And the contents of my topic is introduction, basic terminologies regarding magnetism, types of magnetism, influence of temperature on magnetism. Friends, we know that when you consider iron near magnet, it experiences a strong magnetic force, or it experiences an attractive force when you consider iron near magnet. But if you consider aluminum or any other material near magnet, it may not get that much attracted with the magnet. Why it is so? It is because of each and every material in this matter will be having their own magnetic properties. So let us consider the basic definitions here. The magnetic field. So it is a force which is generated due to energy change in a volume of space. It is produced by an electrical charge in motion. That is, current flowing in a conductor as well as the orbital moment and spin of electrons. Now in this diagram, we have considered a current loop, and at the edge of this current loop, we have got certain magnetic lines of forces. Similarly, if you consider a bar magnet, which is having north and south pole in it, the magnetic lines of force get generated from north pole and end towards the south pole. So this is how the magnetic lines of force got originated from a current loop as well as by a bar magnet. And this is nothing but considered as a magnetic dipole. And this magnetic dipole exists in the magnetic material, and as it consists of north and south pole in it. Now, if you consider that magnetic dipole in a magnetic field, then that magnetic field exerts certain force on the ends of this particular magnetic dipole. So due to that particular force, this magnetic dipole tend to orient itself in the direction of the applied external magnetic field. So this movement of this magnetic dipole, in which that magnetic dipole is rotating with certain particular direction with the application of the external field, and it tend to rotate in the direction of the external field. So that is nothing but called as the magnetic dipole moment, and is generally represented by the letter M, and is also defined as magnetic moment is nothing but the product of magnetic pole strength and the distance between the poles. Now the question is how this magnetic dipole get originated. Now, as we know, in matter, we will be having so many number of atoms, and each and every atom constitute of a centrally positively charged nucleus, and the negatively charged electron will be orbiting around that particular positively charged nucleus. Now, when that electron is orbiting around that nucleus, it possesses certain orbital magnetic moment. And this electron is not only orbiting around the nucleus, it will also spinning about its own axis. So when it is spinning about its own axis, it also possesses spin magnetic moment. So due to both this orbital magnetic moment as well as spin magnetic moment, any atom in this matter possesses its total intrinsic magnetic moment. The alignment of that intrinsic magnetic moment in the material is nothing but called as magnetism. So the question is, each and every material has its orbital as well as spinning electron. Then all material can be a magnet? The answer is no. It is because of two reasons. Reason one is due to Pauli's exclusion principle, which states that two electrons with same energy level must have opposite spins. Hence, their magnetic moments cancel out each other. So that even though it is having a spinning, that particular material is not considered to be a magnet. Reason number 2 is the orbital moments of electrons also cancel out each other. Hence, no net magnetic moments if there is no unpaired electrons. So, for a material to have a certain magnetic moment in it, then it should have certain unpaired electrons in it. So let us consider certain basic definitions or terminologies regarding this magnetism. Now, magnetic field strength is nothing but defined as it is H is equal to Ni over L, where N is nothing but, if you consider a current carrying conductor like this, where I is the magnitude of that particular current passing through the conductor, and N is the number of turns of that particular coil, and L is the length of that particular coil, then the magnetic field due to the passage of electric current through that coil is nothing but given by Ni by L. And this magnetic field strength increases by increasing the number of turns and by increasing the current through the conductor, current through the coil, as by decreasing the length of the conductor. And its unit is given by ampere per meter. And as this magnetic field strength we have defined here, by considering this magnetic field strength, the magnetic flux density or magnetic induction is defined and is nothing but it is the strength of that internal field acquired in the material due to the application of external field, and is given by B and is equal to phi over A, where phi is nothing but called as the magnetic flux density. Magnetic flux density is nothing but the magnetic lines of forces produced in the magnetic field. So B is equal to phi by A, or its unit is given by Tesla or Weber per meter square. And magnetic flux density is also defined as mu into H, or B naught is equal to mu naught into H, where mu is nothing but the permeability of the medium and mu naught is nothing but permeability of vacuum, which is equal to 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7 Henry per meter. Now this mu and mu naught, permeability of medium as well as the permeability of free space, can be related through an expression which is mu r is equal to mu divided by mu naught, where mu r is nothing but called as the relative permeability of the material. So here I have taken an example. A specimen is there here. Let us say we have kept this specimen in a magnetic field. Now we are observing in this first diagram that this specimen is having no magnetic response for that particular magnetic lines of forces. So now in the second diagram, we are observing that these magnetic lines of force are coming towards each other, or they are concentrating towards each other. So it is because of the magnetic property of this particular specimen. So that this specimen is allowing certain magnetic lines of force to pass through it easily. And hence this magnetic material or this specimen is said to be having higher permeability. Whereas this specimen is not having any response for the external magnetic field, so this is said to be having the lesser permeability. So the permeability is nothing but it is that particular property of the material due to which that specimen is allowing the magnetic flux lines to pass through it easily. Is called as permeability of that particular material. Now the next thing is magnetization. Magnetization is nothing but it is the magnetic moment per unit volume within the material. Now how does this magnetization get increases, or on which factors this magnetization is depending? Now you consider a specimen, specimen A, specimen B, specimen C. Now in the specimen A, we are observing that the magnetic moments are crowded in nature. There are so many number of magnetic moments are there. And in the specimen B, the number of magnetic moments are less compared to the specimen A. And if you consider like this, then the magnetization will be more in specimen A and it's less in the specimen B. It is because the magnetization depends on the density of the magnetic dipole moment. As the magnetic dipole moment increases, the magnetization also increases. And in the third diagram, that is in figure C, we are observing that the magnetic dipole moment magnitude is more, is the length of the magnetic dipole moment is more compared to the length of the magnetic dipole moment in A as well as in B. So the magnetization is not only depending on the density of the magnetic dipole moments, it is also depending on the magnitude of the magnetic dipole moments. So the next point on which magnetization depends is on the arrangement of the magnetic dipoles within the material. Now here in the figure D, in the specimen D, we are observing that the magnetic dipole moments are orienting themselves in the different directions. Now if it is so, if the orientation of the magnetic dipole moments are not in a particular direction, then the magnetization in that particular material is less. So magnetization depends on the density of the material medium, density of the magnetic moments in the material medium, and it depends on the magnitude of the magnetic dipole moments, and is also depends on the arrangement of magnetic dipoles within the material. Now the last point is the magnetization arises from unpaired electron spins as well as the orbital motion of electron within the material. In most of the cases, magnetization arises due to unpaired electron spins. This is very, very important for the material to have magnetization. So magnetization is defined as the product of the magnetic susceptibility and the external magnetic field applied. So this magnetic susceptibility is given by mu r minus 1, where this magnetic susceptibility, if you consider, this is nothing but if you are having two materials and you have applied the magnetic field of same strength to those particular magnetic materials, then we will observe which magnetic material get magnetized. So then depending on that, which material is get magnetized, depending on that we will explain the magnetic susceptibility. And depending on the properties of these magnetization, permeability, susceptibility of the material, the magnetic materials are going to classify basically as diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, and ferromagnetic materials. So diamagnetic materials are having a very weak intrinsic magnetic moment, and they are having no intrinsic magnetic moment in it. And when you consider a specimen, a diamagnetic material specimen in a magnetic field, the magnetic material or a diamagnetic material tends to oppose those field lines weakly. Okay, so you have considered the diagram here. When there is no magnetic field, when H is equal to 0, there is no dipole moments here, magnetic moments here. And when we consider certain magnetic field, then the dipole moments get arises, but they start to align in the opposite direction of the external magnetic field direction. So because of this reason, so the diamagnetic material will not possess any intrinsic magnetic moment, and their susceptibility will be negative, and it lies between -1 and 0. And if you consider permeability, it will be positive, and it lies between 0 and 1. And the next one is paramagnetic materials. They have a net intrinsic permanent magnetic moment. Here in the bulk paramagnetic material, if you consider, when there is no magnetic field, that is when H is equal to 0, since the magnetic dipole moments will be orienting themselves in almost all the direction, so the magnetization will be equal to 0. Now, when you consider certain magnetic field in the paramagnetic material space, then we will be observing that the magnetic dipole moments are orienting themselves in the direction of the external magnetic field. So due to this orientation of the dipole moments in the direction of the external magnetic field, the magnetic material get magnetized and is nothing but called as the paramagnetism, and the material will possess the net intrinsic permanent magnetic moment, and hence their susceptibility is positive and their permeability is something like greater than 1. And the example for diamagnetic materials are water, protein, fat, bismuth, copper, lead, zinc, hydrogen, etc. Whereas the example for the paramagnetic materials are platinum, aluminum, salts of iron, nickel, etc. And consider the last type of magnetic materials called as ferromagnetic materials. So these ferromagnetic materials obeys almost all the characteristics of the paramagnetic materials, and these also have a net intrinsic magnetic moment. But here the ferromagnetic materials are not only having the net intrinsic magnetic moment when the external field is applied, but even when there is no field is there, they possess net intrinsic magnetic moment. So how it is so? Let us say here we are having a ferromagnetic material. Now we are considering dividing that ferromagnetic material into certain domains, in which in each and every domain we will be having many number of atoms in it. And when H is equal to 0, that is when no magnetic field is there, the atoms will possess their dipole moments in certain particular direction. Almost all the atoms will be possessing in the dipole moments in the same direction, so that the intrinsic dipole moment will be present. It is because of the one and the another atom will be having certain interaction. Due to the interaction of those atoms, they possess the total intrinsic magnetic moment. So for that particular ferromagnetic material, if you apply certain magnetic field like this, the domains in which are having their dipole moments along the direction of the external magnetic field will get increases, the size of that domain get increases, and as well as the magnetic moments in the other domains will start to orient themselves in the direction of the external field. So thereby the total intrinsic magnetic moment further get increases after the application of the magnetic field. So these ferromagnetic material will possess the intrinsic magnetic moment even after the removal of this magnetic field. So that is the beautiful characteristic of the ferromagnetic material, why they get attracted much to the magnets. And the example for this ferromagnetic material is iron, nickel, and cobalt. And their susceptibility is positive and their permeability is very, very large. And let us consider how these magnetic materials are depending on the temperature. Now we know that if there is no temperature is varying for any particular specimen, the atoms which are present in that specimen will be under normal condition. Now when you increase the temperature, certain particular temperature till certain particular temperature, and they will be not having much vibrations, whereas after certain temperature called as critical temperature, the atomic vibration starts, and due to the atomic vibrations the magnetic dipole moments alignment get disturbed. So the dipole moment leads to misalign and they will start to rotate freely in that particular space. And if you further increase the temperature, that is above critical temperature, and due to that particular temperature, the movement of dipole moments will be randomly in that space like this. And they will be moving in almost all the directions. So that particular temperature where the atom, due to the atomic vibrations, there is a misalignment of the dipole moments get arises, is nothing but called as the Curie temperature. And if you plot a graph of the magnetization versus Curie temperature, when the temperature is equal to 0, the magnetization will be almost maximum. And starts decreasing as the temperature increases, and when it reaches the Curie temperature, there is a sudden decrease in magnetization. And finally, we are going to consider the other two types of magnetic materials, which are called as antiferromagnetic materials as well as the ferrimagnetic materials. So these antiferromagnetic materials as well as the ferrimagnetic materials also possess unpaired electrons. So here in the antiferromagnetic materials, the dipole moments get aligned in the opposite direction and they get completely cancelled with each other, and hence the net magnetic moments will be equal to 0. Example for antiferromagnetic materials is manganese oxide, and they will be having their susceptibility as positive and is very, very small. And if you consider the ferrimagnetic materials, whereas here the magnetic moments get interacted partially, not completely, they get interacted partially, and they also get aligned in the opposite direction. So that the example for this ferrimagnetic material is called is ferrites. So above critical temperature called Néel temperature, these materials become paramagnetic, and the ferrimagnetic material will be having their susceptibility as positive but large compared to antiferromagnetic materials. And I'm finalizing with the definition for diamagnetism, paramagnetism, and ferromagnetism. So diamagnetism is nothing but it is the tendency of the material to reduce the magnetic field due to magnetization in a direction opposite to the applied magnetic field. And the materials which possess this type of characteristics or this type of magnetism are nothing but called as diamagnetic materials. And certain other materials are there in which they tend to induce the magnetic field in the direction of the external magnetic field, and they possess the intrinsic magnetic moments. Then those materials are called as paramagnetic materials, and the tendency of those materials to possess the dipole moments in the direction of the magnetic field is nothing but called as the paramagnetism. And the final materials, which are called as ferromagnetic materials, in which they possess ferromagnetism, in which it is the tendency of those ferromagnetic materials due to which they align, or the dipole moments get aligned in the direction of the external magnetic field, and also they possess the magnetism even after the removal of the external magnetic field. So those are called as ferromagnetic materials. So this is enough for today's class. Thank you.